Fuck that lawnmower. That's it. Yeah. Stop that. Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know.
And he posed and basically told Roach. He tagged Lamar Roach and he said, "Look, you're not getting that fight with Tank."
A day in the life of Gervonta, Tank. Davis, as he prepares for Jake Paul, is built entirely around focus and discipline. Every training session emphasizes sharpness, power, and speed from conditioning drills to sparring. Tank remains locked in on his goals with no room for distractions. His determination shows in every workout, proving he is ready for challenge ahead. Rolando Romero, however, adds perspective by stressing that Tank's legacy remains intact regardless of the outcome as a world champion. With major accomplishments already secured, Davis has nothing left to prove against Jake Paul. Romero does acknowledge that Jake's natural size gives him an advantage, but it does not diminish Tank's accolades or respect within the sport.
Might be too big for him, but Jake Paul might be too big for him, or Tank might crack him. You don't know. Like I said, or it's an exhibition. We don't know if they go at each other or not, or we don't know. I don't know. I can't give an opinion because I don't know what's going on.
Do you think will it impact Tank's legacy if Jake Paul were to beat him or even knock him out?
Dude, Tank's a 3-division world champion, 4-time 3-division world champion. At the end of it, bro, you can't take anything away from him.
You know, some people trying to give, that's fair, some people trying to give Tank a hard time. They're saying he should have took a fight with Lamar Roach or Shakur Stevenson. But when you think about it, do you think it's business and look, he's getting a bag, or is there some validity to people saying that he ducked Roach?
I mean, there's still other options, you know. It's bro, you can't be mad at somebody for doing what they feel is best for them. It's the same way Roach feels Tank is the best option for him. Same way that Stevenson thinks Tank's the best option for him, or all that stuff. Right?
Paulie Malignaggi highlights the fundamental difference between size and experience. While Jake Paul has developed physical strength and popularity, Malignaggi insists that boxing experience far outweighs raw power. Tank Davis has headlined the biggest stages, competed against elite opponents, and adapted to high-pressure situations. Jake, no matter his size, cannot replicate Tank's years of training, ring IQ, and ability to adjust. Mid-fight for Malignaggi's skill and experience almost always decide outcomes over size alone.
I think Davis is more to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. Against the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight. Can he drop a heavyweight? There's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks,
the answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah, but if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion in multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris Algieri, the champion, even you, Jimmy, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you, you're probably going down if you're a small guy, if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public. So there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing, and I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned?
Teofimo Lopez views the event primarily as spectacle rather than sport. In his opinion, the fight is less about rankings or legacy and more about entertainment and financial reward. Both Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis stand to earn massive paydays, which Lopez says cannot be ignored. Although it may lack the prestige of a world championship bout, Lopez argues that the fight still benefits boxing by drawing mainstream attention. Even Crossover events can bring in new fans and extend the sport's global reach.
Really invested on it, and I'm actually very happy for Gervonta and Jake. I really am, man. It's good for the sport in some way, you know.
So a heavyweight versus a lightweight.
Yeah.
You got a fly hit me, yeah. A heavyweight versus a lightweight. How's this gonna work?
Hey, they make it work. It's an exhibition for a reason. So, you know, they know what they're doing. And, you know, shout out to Netflix and shout out to both of them, honestly. Like I said, I think a lot of people in the boxing world are kind of upset. I could care less. I think they're going to go out there and make their money. It falls on the number 8 for a reason. They're going to make a lot of money.
Have you got a prediction for that fight?
My prediction, a show.
Well, clearly it's a show, but when you've got a lot of people underestimating Jake Paul once again, but when you've got a heavyweight boxer who knows how to throw punches and knows the basics against a lightweight,
you know what?
that's quite a difference. I mean, have you sparred heavyweights before?
Yeah.
Competitive sparring in the ring?
Yeah, it's not the same. It's not the same, not at all. Definitely got to move. I've actually played around a few times, went through between their legs just to duck around. But yeah, because they're taller, you know. But I think for that competition, that fight, it reminds me a lot like The Big Show, and Floyd Mayweather when they fought in WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And will that end the same way?
Possibly. Maybe some brass knuckles in there too.
Can you see Jake Paul knocking out Gervonta Davis?
It's boxing, man. And if it's a show like this, anything goes, anything happens.
Nate Diaz, known for his unfiltered honesty, outright dismisses the matchup for Diaz to fight carries no real competitive value. He argues that regardless of the win or the outcome will not enhance either fighter's career to him. It is a show designed purely for entertainment. More in line with professional wrestling than legitimate sporting contests, his perspective cuts through the hype portraying the event as a sideshow rather than a meaningful bout.
I gotta ask you, Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis. Does Davis have a chance?
Gervonta is a great boxer, but he ain't gonna do it.
So you got Jake Paul by knockout, or
No, I don't got anybody, but I don't think
he's too small?
it's just I don't want to beat up somebody that small. I don't want to, you know. I don't want to lose to somebody that. There's no point in the fight. It's a great fight, actually. I'm not hating on the fight, but I think my thoughts on it is let's watch and see what happens.
Ryan Garcia said his boxing is hurting in WWE.
Yeah,
with that type of matchup. Do you agree? Okay. Last thing, White House card, like you said, you want Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but the whole thing's on WWE, so
Right.
it's like, at least that's happening and getting something to talk about, something to watch, and I'm looking forward to that one.
Jeff Mayweather echoes Nate Diaz's skepticism, questioning the logic behind pairing Tank with Jake Paul. He finds a matchup unusual and difficult to justify aside from financial motivations. While acknowledging the business element of modern boxing, Jeff Mayweather considers the fight unnecessary and confusing for purists. Fans of critique reflects the unease many traditionalists feel about the rise of crossover boxing events.
It's kind of weird because Jake Paul is extremely bigger than Tank. Yeah, but with it being exhibition, it makes sense. You know, it's fine. You got a big name that he's going to be fighting. But I mean, it really makes no sense because he could be weighing over 200 and some pounds. Tank's going to probably be weighing maybe at the most 147, 150. So I don't even understand why the fight is happening.
KSI, who has first-hand experience in influencer boxing, shines a light on Jake Paul's promotional tactics. He argues that rumors of Paul facing Anthony Joshua were never realistic, but rather a calculated ploy to stir hype and mislead the public. According to KSI, the fight with Tank is simply the next move in Jake's strategy of building buzz rather than pursuing legitimate top-tier competition. His comments underscore the theatrical and manipulative side of modern boxing promotion.
I knew AJ and Jake was never gonna happen.
I didn't.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so crazy. Like, I feel like so many people just believe everything.
But that's pretty unbelievable on the other hand.
I feel like well, okay, how do I say that? Choma versus White. I had a lot of people bet on White win. And I'm there like, you guys don't watch boxing, do you? you just look at a record and go, oh, Dylan's fought many more people than Toma. That record says a lot. Toma's like 18, not 18, Toma's 20, inexperienced, round one. Like, I just knew Toma was going to just destroy him. And I think a good fight for Toma would be him and Wilder. I think that'll be a very good fight.
Jake Paul's trainer, BJ Flores, offers a more supportive view. He believes Jake's true long-term development belongs in the cruiserweight and heavyweight divisions, where his natural size is best suited. However, Flores sees the Davis fight as a valuable stepping stone. Sharing the ring with a champion like Tank elevates Jake's profile and creates new opportunities against bigger names in higher divisions. In Flores' eyes, the fight is part of Jake's gradual climb in the boxing world.
Funny story. So one of my good friends, Armani, he has been working with Jake Paul for the last 2 years. There was a little time where Shane wasn't there with Jake, and Armani called me up and said, "Hey BJ, will you come down to Big Bear and spar with Jake?" And I'm like, "You want me to spar with Jake?" I'm taking him myself, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's beating up all his sparring partners. I was like, all right, I mean, fine, I'll go down there and do it. I have been inactive. I haven't done anything for like 8 months, but I was like, okay, I'll go down there. So we spar a couple times. After that, they decided I was too big for him, and it's better if we just not do it.
Right.
Then they asked me if I would be interested in like working the mitts with them and helping him with the combinations, because I was hitting them with some combinations they hadn't seen before, and I said if we can teach him all those things and have him doing all those things, and so I started working the mitts with him and helping him out on the mitts, and he told his trainers and everybody, they're like, man, I want BJ around for the entire camp because I'm getting better. My job is like Shane does the advice in the corner and I do the mitts.
Respected journalist Gareth A. Davies takes a harsher stance, labeling the fight a circus spectacle that prioritizes money over sporting integrity. He argues that the weight mismatch undermines the principles of fair competition, transforming the event into financial theater rather than a true contest. Davies warns that if boxing continues down this path, its credibility could be permanently damaged, driving away purists and longtime fans. Yet he concedes that controversy fuels attention, and fights like this undeniably generate enormous buzz.
I think we've gone out of the frying pan and into the fire because we thought we were going to get Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua very soon. We'll speak to Frank Smith about that in the next section, obviously. Eddie Hearn was teasing it to me personally last week. £80 million on the table for Anthony Joshua to fight Jake Paul. But 8 inches in height difference, 7 weight divisions between them, 5 stone, 70 pounds between them. It's a joke. It's a circus fight as opposed to a disgrace of a fight, which was Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul. At least you feel in this you've got quite a poor, very big one against a pound-for-pound, brilliant, unbeaten little un. And the little un who'll come up to his navel will hit him with a lot of body shots. I said in the week to Danny Kelly and Charlie Brooker that, do I mean Charlie Brooker? No, Baker. Charlie Baker. That Charlie Brooker's a different person altogether. That he'll be throwing the Superman punch, the leaping left hook. It's going to be a very odd thing. It's called, in inverted commas, an exhibition bout. But everybody in boxing is a name, doesn't mind going in with Jake Paul because they know they're making millions of dollars. And that's the only reason that Gervonta Davis, who's being called the poison little elf by Jake Paul, and it'll be fun in the build-up. Everybody in boxing knows they're guaranteed to make millions of those silverbacks, those greenback notes that they give out in America, and they give them out for fun when Jake Paul fights. So he's not going to say no to it. But can you pick a winner in that fight? I don't want.
Vargas Jr. presents a different angle, focusing on the element of surprise. He admits that the fight caught many off guard, and for that reason alone it sparks interest. Fans are drawn to novelty, and the unexpected nature of this matchup guarantees conversations and debates, whether seen as positive or negative. Vargas Jr. argues that the unpredictability itself adds excitement.
The way we dress, or this generation, as far as like fighters, they relate to more who's more popular. That's why we're seeing the Jake Paul versus Gervonta fight, which is, that's crazy for me because we would never see that, and back in my dad's day, but now we're getting this, and it's just like, fuck it. I mean, people are gonna see it, bro. So it is what it is. But whether people know him more or not, or me, it doesn't matter. I know that he's coming and he's coming game and he wants to make a statement as well. So we're just coming to interrupt those plans. You know, this is boxing. You know, I'm so excited to demonstrate my skills. I could box, I could counterpunch, I could bang when I want to, and I'm gonna demonstrate that. I'm gonna do what I want to do in there. Come September 13th.
Yeah, you know, we spoke about this a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
It's a 10-round fight. You know, could be a different pace of a fight, but what do you think is like the key for you to get this win, regardless if it's a knockout or if it goes all 10 rounds?
I think just be smart. Be in there, be smart, be first, and do what I do. I think if I try to do a little too much, like my dad says, when you try doing too much, it looks you're trying too hard. So only thing I gotta do is just come in the best shape possible. If it goes 10 rounds, then it goes 10 rounds. You know, we're doing 12 rounds of sparring, so if it needs to go to 10 rounds, we'll have the gas tank to go. You know, I don't know if he's gone a full 10 rounds. You know, I haven't, so it'll be something for fight day. You know, if we do end up going the distance, and we end up going the
Boxing commentator Wade Plem argues that Jake Paul has injected new energy into the sport by drawing audiences who might never have followed boxing otherwise. He emphasizes Jake's influence over younger fans who prefer entertainment-driven events over traditional matchups. While purists criticize such fights as gimmicks, Wade believes they represent boxing's necessary evolution. In his view, the Davis-Paul fight continues. This momentum by engaging mainstream audiences, expanding cultural relevance, and boosting the sport's popularity, controversial or not.
Man, that's the circus. If you want to join the circus, that's the circus. I don't see the value. I just see money in that, involved in that. If they want the money, if that's what they want to do, then go ahead and go ahead and get the money. But other than that, I'm not a guy, Jake Paul, that's what, 6'3", 6'4", almost. Then you got a guy, Gervonta Davis, that's like 5'5", a little guy. Y'all gonna try to move 200 pounds? Just for Mike Tyson there, I'm gonna throw him in there with a 135. It's just a circuit, and that's what they want to do to get money to generate money in the sport of boxing instead of Gervonta Davis. This is a legacy fight. He was supposed to fight Lamont Roach after this, and then he say, no. Think about it. You really can't say too much. When you say Gervonta Tank Davis and you say Lamont.
Several analysts agree that the fight is less about competition and more about business strategy for Jake Paul. It offers massive exposure, credibility, and financial gain. Even in defeat, he stands to grow his brand and secure future opportunities in the boxing market. However, the ripple effect extends to other fighters, with Davis tied up against Jake. A potential rematch with Lamont is off the table. Analysts stress that while Lamont loses that option, other career-building opportunities remain available. Ultimately, this crossover event reshapes boxing's traditional calendar, creating both setbacks and new possibilities across the sport.
Where does Lamont Roach Jr. go from here? Options. They've got options. I mean, that young kid, Kamel Moton or Moton, is calling him out. He ain't going to do that. He's only 19. Floyd, young fighter. He can wait for the winner of Abdullah Mason Sam Noakes. I mean, Floyd Schofield's out. Options. What I'm trying to say. And then look, does he want to go down a weight? Does he want to go down to super feather? Let's not forget, I think he's still a belt holder in that division. I mean, O'Shaquie Foster's there. Stephen Fulton is now in the division. We saw Raymond Ford on the weekend. Sorry, weekend. When was that fight? 2 weekends ago. So there are options out there for